Welcome back to Cardboard Castaways. Back to.
Yeah.
I love doing that. It's like my voice is playing hide and seek in this recording booth. But hey, enough about my silly games. We're ready to dive into those stacks you sent us about alternative ways to play the Pokemon Trading Card Game.
You mean the ways to play beyond those standard rules?
Exactly.
Well, it's great that you've included official Pokemon TCG rulebooks, including the advanced rules and appendices.
Oh, and don't forget that alternative play handbook.
Right. That gives us a lot to work with.
Yeah, we're talking Pokemon X, Mega Evolutions, V-Star Powers, heck, even the Lost Zone. I'm kind of hoping we find a way to play with nothing but Dittos. Can you imagine that?
That's a fun thought, but I think the material focuses more on pre-constructed alternative formats, ones created for different player experience.
Okay, less Dittomania, more actual ways to play. Got it.
Right.
So, are you ready to shuffle up the way you play Pokemon? Before we get into it all, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what other Pokemon you want us to deep dive into. But for now, let's start with formats perfect for introducing newbies to the game. What do you think?
Sounds good to me. The first one we can look at is called PokeCatch. The goal here is to actually catch Pokemon.
Catch Pokemon.
Yeah, by collecting specific energy cards, not by battle.
So it's kind of like a Pokemon scavenger hunt. Way less pressure than getting knocked out in the battle, right?
Exactly. Think of it like this. You see a Zacian in the Pokemon deck, right?
Okay, yeah.
Its strongest attack, smashing edge. It needs 2 metal energy cards.
So to catch that Zacian, I got to be the first to grab those 2 shiny metal energy cards.
You got it. Now, the number of energy cards in the energy deck, it changes depending on how many players you have.
Oh, that makes sense. No one wants to spend all day searching for those cards. But what about Pokemon with, trickier attack costs? What if I wanted to snag a Pikachu? What would I need?
They use those electric attacks, right? Let's say this Pikachu, it has an attack called Electro Ball.
Okay,
And it needs 1 lighting energy and 1 of any type. So to catch that Pikachu, you'd need to get both of those energy types from the deck.
Wow. Those energy symbols, they really matter. This is making me think about all sorts of Pokemon and their attack costs. Maybe we should play around after this.
Maybe we should.
So what other newbie-friendly formats are there?
Well, there's Booster Fun, which, as you might guess,
Uses booster packs?
uses booster packs. It's got 4 different ways to play, each with its own twist.
Ooh, now this sounds fun. Tell me about these mysterious variations.
First up is Top Number Triumphs, which is all about comparing the stats on your cards.
Okay.
So you roll a die to decide which stat you're going for. Could be HP, height, even the Pokedex number. Then everyone reveals a card, and whoever has the higher number, well, they win.
So basically, it's a Pokemon-themed game of chance. I could totally rock this game. My luck has been phenomenal lately.
I bet you could. Then we have 151 questions.
151 questions, okay.
Each player, they try to figure out what Pokemon the other player is hiding by asking yes or no questions.
Like a Pokemon version of 20 questions.
Exactly.
I love it. A battle of wits. It'd be like, is your Pokemon a water type? Does it evolve from a cute little fluff ball?
Yeah.
I'd be a master at this.
I bet you would be. Then there's Who's That Pokemon?
Oh, who's that Pokemon? Classic.
Perfect for, well, any Pokedex whiz. Players read Pokedex entries aloud, and they challenge each other to guess which Pokemon it's describing.
This takes me right back to my childhood watching the anime. I was pretty good at guessing those back then. I might
see.
need to dust off my Pokedex knowledge for that one.
Yeah, you might. And then, if you want something a little more relaxed, there's Memory Berry.
Memory Berry.
It's that classic memory matching game, but with basic energy cards.
Aw, cute. Perfect format for younger players or anyone who just wants a chill gaming experience. Wow, that's quite a range of games for beginners. It's really something how they've managed to create so many different ways to enjoy the game. But what about players who are ready for, a little more? Like they've conquered PokeCatch and they're ready to step it up a notch. What do they move on to?
That's where multi-experience comes in. It's also sometimes called Grow and Go.
Grow and Go.
This format, it introduces the full game mechanics, but across 5 levels.
Okay.
So it lets players ease into that full game,
So you're telling me that I start with a small deck and work my way up to the big leagues. It's like a Pokemon training montage, but for card games.
Exactly. Each level introduces new card types and game mechanics.
Okay.
So you start with a simple 20-card deck of only basic Pokemon and energy cards. Then, as you level up, well, you'd add more cards, more rules, and you eventually reach a full 60-card deck using all the standard rules.
So level 1 is like dipping your toes in the pool, and by level 5, you're doing cannonballs.
That's a great way to put it.
What kind of cards and rules get added as you go?
Well, first you add Stage 1 Evolution Pokemon, then item and supporter cards. Special conditions like poison and sleep, they also come in gradually.
This is like a choose-your-own adventure. But for Pokemon battles,
Yeah.
that's brilliant. Multi-experience really does ease you into the full game step by step.
It does.
What about basic battle, though? Is that just a fancy way of saying regular battling?
Basic Battle is a simplified game mode, streamlines the experience really for new players,
Okay.
focuses on the core concepts, active and benched Pokemon, attack-in, damage, and knockouts.
Okay, so it's like learning the Pokemon ABCs before you write a whole novel. How's the setup for this one different?
It's super streamlined. Each player picks just 3 Pokemon and sets them up. 1 active, 2 benched.
Okay.
Then you battle to knock out all your opponent's Pokemon.
Simple and straight to the point. I like it. Okay, before we jump to the more advanced formats, let's take a quick pause. And hey, while we're at it, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe.
And tell us in the comments what Pokemon you'd like us to deep dive into next.
You know the drill. We'll be back in a jiffy to cover even more challenging ways to play the Pokémon Trading Card Game.
Welcome back, trainers. Now we're stepping up the challenge, looking at formats for players who are ready to dig a little deeper.
Yeah, time for those intermediate formats, right? Bring on the heat. I'm really hoping they involve, like, secret techniques or something. Maybe I can finally learn to do a Thunderbolt in real life.
Well, we might not have real-life Thunderbolts, but we do have some creative strategic twists. Let's kick things off with Pack Battle, where, as the name suggests,
Each player builds a deck using a single booster pack.
a single booster pack, you got it.
Hold on. A whole game with just those 10 cards. Now that's what I call a challenge. It's like a cooking competition with limited ingredients. You got to get real creative.
That's the spirit. To balance things out, you also get 10 basic energy cards to add to your booster pack. And you only play for 2 prize cards instead of the usual 6. But here's where things get really interesting.
Ooh, do tell. Is there a secret ingredient? A hidden power-up? Come on, lay it on me.
It's the Ditto Evolution rule.
The Ditto Evolution rule. Right?
This rule, it lets you evolve any basic Pokemon into any Stage 1 or Stage 2 Pokemon you drafted,
Yeah, what?
even if they don't usually evolve that way.
Hold up. Are you saying I could have a Charmander evolve into a Blastoise? Mind blown. This changes everything. Imagine the crazy combos you could pull off.
Exactly. That's what makes pack battles so unpredictable and exciting. You never know what kind of wild evolutions your opponent might come up with. It really forces players to think outside the box, looking for those unexpected synergies between cards they might have otherwise overlooked.
This Ditto Evolution rule really shakes things up. I'm definitely putting pack battles on my list to try. Quick, strategic, and full of surprises. Sounds like my kind of game. So what other surprises await us in this intermediate format department, huh?
Next, we've got Menu of Limitations, a format all about, well, limitations. Players get to choose specific restrictions that apply to deck building and gameplay, creating a truly personalized experience.
Wait a minute, so you're saying we get to make up our own rules? Can I make a rule that all water-type Pokemon get to attack twice per turn? That'd be awesome.
Well, while that particular rule might not be the most balanced, the format does offer a variety of preset limitations to choose from.
Okay.
You can even create your own if you're feeling creative, but the main goal is to build a unique and challenging experience for everyone involved, really.
All right. So no superpowered water types. But I can still get creative with those limitations. Give me some examples. What kind of restrictions are we talking about?
Well, for deck building, you could limit each player to using only 1 copy of each card in their deck, except for basic energy cards. Or you could restrict decks to only include Pokemon with a certain HP range, which would push players towards specific strategies based on those limitations.
Ooh, I like that. So I could build a deck full of super tough Pokemon, or go the opposite direction and have a team of speedy, low HP attackers. It's like tailoring your team for a specific mission.
Exactly. And for gameplay, you could try something like allowing unlimited supporter cards per turn or restricting players to playing only 1 item card per turn. It's all about finding that sweet spot between fun and challenge.
This menu of limitations format, it's like a buffet of Pokemon rules. I could spend hours just thinking up different combos. But what about this achievements format? That one sounds pretty intriguing.
Achievements, they introduce a whole new challenge to the game, adding bonus objectives that run alongside the traditional victory conditions.
So it's not just about knocking out your opponent's Pokemon anymore. We got side quests now. Awesome. I'm always up for a good side quest. What kind of achievements are we talking about here?
They can be anything from completing specific actions in the game to achieving certain deck compositions. For example, you could earn points for drawing a certain number of cards in a single turn, or having a full bench of evolution Pokemon.
Wait a minute. So I get bonus points for having a fully evolved team. Now that's an achievement I can get behind. Finally, my dedication to evolving my Pokemon is getting the recognition it deserves.
Exactly. You and your opponent decide on the achievements and their point values before the match. Then the first player to reach the agreed-upon number of points, well, they win, even if they haven't taken all their prize cards yet.
So it's like a race to see who can complete the most objectives. This format, it adds a whole new level of strategy to the game. I'm definitely going to try this with my friends. It'll be like, take that. I just got 10 points for having 6 different Pokemon types in play.
I'm sure you'll have a lot of fun with it.
Now that we've explored these intermediate formats, I'm ready to tackle the big leagues. Bring on the advanced formats. Are we finally getting to those floating stadiums I've been dreaming of? You know, where we battle high above the ground like something out of a movie?
While we might not have floating stadiums in these rule books, we do have formats with some of the most complex and exciting gameplay that Pokemon TCG has to offer. Are you ready to team up and take on the raid format?
Did you say team up? You mean we get to play together? Awesome. Sign me up. I call dibs on being the leader. Raid battles, huh? This sounds epic, like we're those fancy Avengers, but instead of fighting some Thanos fella, we're taking on a superpowered Pokemon. Real, spill the beans. How do these raid battles work?
In the raid format, you team up with other players to challenge a powerful raid boss.
Okay.
Usually represented by one of those oversized Pokemon cards.
Right.
It's all about teamwork and clever strategizing to win.
Teamwork makes the dream work, am I right? Just picture it. We'll be coordinating attacks, planning our moves, and cheering each other on like a real Pokemon training squad. Do we get special powers too? Can I have telepathy to talk to my teammates?
While telepathy isn't officially part of the rules, the raid format does have some unique mechanics designed for teamwork.
Okay.
For instance, when you play a supporter card, its effect can be applied to any player on your team, not just yourself.
So if I play a card that lets me draw more cards, I can give those cards to my teammate. That's amazing. We really are in this together, helping each other out. I can feel that team spirit already.
Another key difference is that all players take their turns simultaneously.
What?
You're all resolved in special conditions, drawn cards, and attacked in at the same time.
Whoa, so it's like we're all doing a synchronized Pokemon dance, moving in perfect harmony to take down that raid boss. This is intense. What about the raid deck? Does it just sit there or does it get to do stuff too?
Oh, the raid deck is a force to be reckoned with. It has its own set of rules and actions.
Okay.
It starts by drawing a number of cards equal to the number of players plus 1. And get this, any energy cards it reveals are automatically attached to the raid boss.
Hold on, the raid boss gets free energy. That's not very fair. It's like giving the big bad guy a head start. How are we supposed to win against that kind of power?
That's where your team strategy comes in. You need to coordinate your attacks, manage your resources carefully, and look for opportunities to disrupt the raid deck's strategy. Remember, you're all in this together.
All right. Challenge accepted. We'll use our combined brain power to outsmart that raid boss. But how do we actually win? Do we have to, completely knock out the raid boss?
Well, there are 2 ways to win a raid battle.
Yeah.
The first is the classic knockout.
Yeah.
Which is tough because the raid boss has so much HP.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
The second way is to deplete the raid deck before it can send a certain number of cards to the Lost Zone.
The Lost Zone. Ooh, that sounds scary.
Yeah.
What happens in this mysterious zone?
The Lost Zone is a special zone where cards go to be removed from the game entirely. They're gone for good. Like they fell into a Pokemon black hole.
Whoa, that's intense. So we either overpower the raid boss with our attacks, or we outsmart the raid deck.
Yeah.
This raid battle, it sounds like a real test for any Pokemon trainer. Okay, I'm pumped for this. What other advanced format do we have?
If you want a format that's super competitive and focuses on single prize Pokemon and tight deck building rules, then the Gym Leader Challenge is for you.
Gym Leader Challenge. Does that mean we get to battle those famous gym leaders? Can I challenge Brock? I always want to battle that guy. He's got that awesome Onyx,
While you won't be battling Brock directly, the Gym Leader Challenge format captures the spirit of those classic gym battles from the video games.
Shucks. No Brock showdown. Okay, but tell me more about this Gym Leader Challenge. What makes it so special?
One of the key rules is that your deck can only include Pokemon with a single prize card.
Okay.
That means no powerful Pokemon EX, Pokemon GX, or Pokemon V.
So it's like going back to the basics. We're relying on those classic Pokemon, the underdogs, the ones who don't always get all the attention. I'm all for giving those Pokemon a chance to shine.
Exactly. And there's another twist. You're only allowed one copy of each card in your deck except for those basic energy cards.
Ooh, this rule is tough. Every card becomes super valuable, just like a rare Pokemon. No more dependent on having 4 copies of my favorite trainer card.
That's the challenge. And to make things even more interesting, all your Pokemon have to be the same type. This encourages you to really master the strategies of a specific Pokemon type.
So I pick my favorite type and build my whole team around it. I'm already picturing an all-grass deck using those powerful Vine Whip attacks and all those awesome healing moves. It'd be like being a real grass-type gym leader.
The Gym Leader Challenge truly tests your knowledge of the game and your deck-building skills. It's a format where mastering a single type can lead to some amazing victories.
Well, I'm ready to put my skills to the test. Time to show everyone what a true Pokemon master can do. Is there one last format we can squeeze in before we wrap up this awesome deep dive?
Of course, if you're a fan of drafting, you'll love the Ditto Draft format.
Ditto Draft, eh? Sounds interesting.
This format lets you build a deck from booster packs, but with a special twist. And you guessed it, it involves Ditto.
Ditto Draft, eh? So is it like we all get Dittos and transform them into other Pokemon? Can my Ditto turn into a Charizard? Or a Pikachu?
It's not quite like that. In Ditto Draft, you draft cards from booster packs and basic energy cards provided by the event organizer.
Okay.
But you also have special Ditto markers that you can use on any of your basic Pokemon.
Okay, so what do these Ditto markers do? Do they, like, give my Pokemon some kind of secret power boost?
The Ditto marker gives your basic Pokemon a special ability called Evolutionary Advantage.
Yeah, evolutionary advantage, okay.
This ability, it allows you to evolve that Pokemon into any Stage 1 or Stage 2 Pokemon you drafted, even if they don't usually evolve that way.
Whoa, it's like the Ditto evolution rule from Pack Battle,
Yeah.
but even more powerful. It's like
Yeah.
Ditto is saying, I can evolve into anything you need. The possibilities are endless.
Exactly. Ditto Draft encourages creative thinking and quick decision-making. You need to adjust your strategy on the fly, depending on which cards you draft and how you use those Ditto markers.
This Ditto Draft sounds like a blast. I love the surprise factor and the challenge of building a deck right there on the spot. Well, folks, I think we've covered just about every wacky and wonderful way to play the Pokemon Trading Card Game. What a journey. It's amazing how many different ways there are to experience this game. What do you think?
I completely agree. The Pokemon Trading Card Game is incredibly versatile. These formats are a testament to that, really, offering something for every type of player and playstyle.
Well said. A big thanks to all you listeners for joining us on this epic deep dive into the wild world of alternative Pokemon TCG formats. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let us know in the comments what other card game craziness you want us to explore. Until next time, trainers, keep on battling, and may your pulls be ever in your favor.
Farewell, trainers, and may your decks be ever evolving.